Okay, Sunday, 19th of October 2025. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Bitcoin liquidity is the embodiment of creative destruction of free markets. So, creative destruction is an interesting concept in economics. It talks about getting rid of old, inefficient, bad ideas and bad investments, bad allocation of money, getting rid of it so new things and businesses and ideas and entrepreneurs can come along and gain root. In the same way, pampas grass, you would burn pampas grass so it grows anew. You would say toil a field so it can grow, be ready for planting to grow things. You would get rid of old stuff, out with the old, in with the new. It's that essentially with regards to these businesses, these investments, this structure, there's all these things here, these business models don't work, but the way to get rid of them is for them to go bankrupt, for a flushing of the market, even in a sense of leverage, in a sense of just leveraging of the market, getting rid of debt and other things that aren't needed. So then we can say, right, so that's as a matter of fact. And then we can say, right, well, Bitcoin itself, because it's volatile, I use that loosely because it depends how you look at it. Because it's volatile and there's no central point of attack or control, no central point of control with it. It's a decentralized network and it operates 24/7. It's always active, so it is pure liquidity. Whatever tends to happen in the world, one interesting canary in the coal mine, one leading indicator that responds to those things, or before it permeates in that idea or understanding as it permeates into the rest of the market, is the Bitcoin price itself. When Bitcoin price tends to crash or go up or blow up, it tends to mean something at a bigger stage has happened, especially that's possible, especially during general market closures, like Saturday, the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So that means that as Bitcoin crashes, because it's the only market available where people want liquidity, they go from Bitcoin to dollars for taking risk off the table, and that's an interesting thing to consider as well. Bitcoin price suffers, and all the malinvestment in the space, the bad businesses, the bad decisions, the bad trades, you name it, not bad from a moralistic point of view, but the inefficient, the suboptimal decisions, those that are not, say, built, those that may not have the debt structure that could last them 10 years, for example, or the trades that could last them and keep them going for 10 years, are flushed out the market. Because it's the market way of saying, via creative destruction, to saying this idea is not worthy, therefore it goes to zero. Again, not worthy in a moralistic point of view, but in a balance sheet point of view. This trade was not a good move because the market's gone against you so bad, it's proven you wrong. It's that old saying, really, that by Warren, that says, when the tide comes out, when the tide goes out, you see who is swimming naked. Meaning, when the market goes against everyone, we see who can't handle the pressure, who can't handle the liquidity shortage. Okay, so that happens. Now, what does that mean? That means that in some real absolutist in some absolutist way, that the Bitcoin market is self-correcting by the very nature of it, the first principles of it, but also a very pure one, pure, strong, confident one, as in noise to signal ratio. Because if it has these occasional drawdowns, then people, in order to not go bankrupt, not go to zero, their trade go to zero, they have to be thinking very carefully. So strategically, the right kind of debt structure, debt time, the right kind of allocation, the right kind of way to put it, the right kind of way to view it, the right kind of way to hedge it, things like that, so as to not go bankrupt. Therefore, it creates a very resilient market, and only during those actual crashes, the least resilient get flushed out. And we could be seeing this these days with regards to the Bitcoin treasuries, And in the future, in 5, 10, 15 years from now, there'll be other businesses and business models that right now haven't yet been conceived that will be used and that will have the same market forces applied against them that will push some of them into bankruptcy as well and create a healthier, stronger market in the future. Because also, at a deeper level, understand that in the bear markets, that's when the builders are. That's when the builders are active in the bear markets. The builders are those that are creating the new businesses in the future. I heard an interesting phrase recently that said, "The heroes of today are tomorrow's villain." Interesting. Here, today's heroes are tomorrow's villains, meaning those that are, let's say, on the front page being glorified by whoever. Oh, genius here, genius there. In the future, could be vilified because they destroy the market, damage things, reputations, you name it. I'm referring to, you could argue, specifically in 2022. Very interesting. So yes, this liquidity is very important. This volatility, as Saylor talks about it, volatility is vitality. Yes, because it's volatility to the upside. And just look at the map, the chart on the 10-year time horizon, 15-year time horizon. You just see that. And I also heard once, and this is an interesting thing to mention, that Bitcoin is range bound between 0 and infinity, or a million, let's say. It's just range bound. But over time, it goes up and to the right, it goes there. That volatility is important. And you could say, at an interesting level, well, you've got volatility risk by holding Bitcoin, or as we just described. Yes, only if you're pricing your life in pounds and dollars and euros, fiat. If you're on a Bitcoin standard and pricing your life in Satoshis and Bitcoin, then the price in fiat is immaterial. Just how for me, the price of Bitcoin in Indian rupees is immaterial. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not using that as my benchmark for life, pounds and Bitcoin. So I do care about that pair, how they perform. Interesting. But if you switch your focus from measuring life in pounds, dollars, euros, fiat, from that to Bitcoin, or one Bitcoin to one Bitcoin, it doesn't matter what the price of dollars or euros is in Bitcoin, because you're measuring it in this. And if you have that confidence, conviction and patience over the long term, well, the purchasing power increases. Meaning, on a Bitcoin standard, it doesn't matter how you eliminate that volatility as a risk in your life, because you're not worried about how many Satoshis, what Satoshis are worth in pounds or dollars. You're operating purely on a Satoshi basis in a there's a nice word for this, circular economy almost. This book is 12 Satoshis. Oh, I have 20 Satoshis. Here you go. Things like that. There's no fiat as a medium of exchange in this transaction. Quite powerful. And at that point, you could say, well, you've eliminated volatility as a risk when viewing and holding Bitcoin, and it doesn't matter what the price is in dollars, pounds, euros, etc. It might as well be infinite, especially if you're never going back to those currencies. Meaning, if someone has $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, you're not going to part with your Bitcoin. The price is infinite, or we would say more colloquially, it's priceless. There's no number how high someone's willing to offer, the bid, to part you with the Bitcoin. That's quite powerful. Very, very powerful. Very interesting. But that kind of mindset is 15 years at least in the future. But interesting to understand it. But creative destruction is part of the Bitcoin ecosystem because of the nature of the asset, the volatility. Embrace the volatility. And it's that meme as well, buying the dip, basically. Buying the dip, price is what everyone gets, the price they deserve. And volatility, when you look at it on the grand scheme of things, is only up and to the right. It's just those particular mini roller coasters, you could say, in the short term on the daily, weekly, monthly charts. Oh, it's gone down by 1%, 2%, oh, things like that. If you can weather those storms, especially with no debt or no leverage, you've got a nice solid position that no matter where the price goes in the future, you're still standing. And that's powerful. Very, very powerful. You stand the test of time. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.